like I know how to throw a party.
That's Diddy with E.T. in 1999 telling a joke, which has now come true.
What's up, E.T., baby? Hope you're ready for the wildest, longest ride of your lives.
E.T. spent the day with the then 29-year-old who was seemingly proud of the wild reputation surrounding his blowout bashes.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop.
Your dreams fulfilled, you're rocking with the best.
People from all walks of life. Ron Perlman talking to Jay-Z. Jay-Z talking to, you know what I'm saying? It just goes on and on.
Once hailed as hip-hop's richest mogul with a $1 billion empire according to Forbes just 2 years ago, he's now sitting in a Brooklyn jail cell with no bail, facing lawsuits, home raids, and a serious federal indictment. How can a globally famous rapper known for his lavish lifestyle, yachts, private jets, sports cars, fur coats, and women, go from a $50 million Miami mansion to sharing a cell with crypto fraudster Sam Bankman? It all unraveled when one of those women came forward with shocking accusations.
With it. Sex trap from state to state. If Diddy probably would have had his freaks off right there in his house and wasn't paying people to come from different states and everything like that, it might be he may have got away with it. Hugh Hefner was there at his home, and most of the girls lived at his home. And if they did something with somebody, they were supposed to be consensual adults who lived in the Playboy Mansion. They were none of you know, Diddy is getting word. They saying Diddy had girls that was underage in the whole 9 yards. We don't know yet because discovery hasn't been made. The prosecution haven't given a discovery to the defense team yet. So we don't know exactly what they got or exactly what they're going to put out there to them. But Hugh Hefner, I think that
On November 16th, 2023, R&B singer Cass Ventura filed a shocking lawsuit with claims so explosive that a trigger warning was placed right on the first page.
Surprised, but now I'm going to feign that I'm not. That kind of charges. Harvey Weinstein, they were worried about him messing with his ankle bracelet. You can't play with these big celebrities. Just keep him where he is. Why is that not a fair outcome?
Because what he did here was so extraordinary, Chris, that he shouldn't have been denied bail. And we're going to be back at a bail hearing tomorrow before his assigned judge at 3:30. Hopefully he'll get it then. What he did here is on a magnitude of unlike anybody else you could imagine. A week after these public searches were televised, he gave us his passport. His children gave us his passport. He then paid off the mortgage entirely on his Miami home. $18 million, Chris. That is an unbelievable amount of money. He's been trying to sell his plane since the searches happened.
Explain why, other than that he's got a lot of money. Why does it matter that he wanted to pay off the house? What is that instructive of?
It's instructive that he's going to have a bail package ready so that if he was arrested, he would have something ready so that he could get out the next day and show the judge he's taking this very seriously, which he is, which is why 12 days ago, Chris, when we thought there's an indictment that may be coming, he flew to New York the very next day. He got on a plane and he came here. And that's an extraordinary move for a defendant who's been under investigation that he's been aware of for at least 6 months. He came to the very jurisdiction that is investigating him, and he said, I'm here, I want to surrender, let me surrender. And they obviously didn't let him do that, but he's been here for 12 days, not knowing if it would happen the day he got here, or a year from now, he was going to wait. And we told the government, you know, if you want his address, we'll give it to you. He's been here complying with the investigation at every step since the searches took place.
Singer Cassie alleges that during her 10-year relationship with Diddy, she experienced severe mistreatment triggered by his uncontrolled anger. The lawsuit claims he gave her drugs and pressured her into long and inappropriate encounters, which he allegedly referred to as freak-offs. These claims are now reflected in the federal charges against him. While Diddy firmly denied the allegations, he settled the lawsuit the following day after it was filed by Cassie in New York, with news of the settlement emerging overnight.
Lawsuit filed by Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod, brings these accusations into 2024. According to Lil Rod's lengthy suit, Diddy is the kingpin in a gun trafficking, drug trafficking, and sex trafficking scheme. Lil Rod also accused Diddy of sexual assault and echoed Cassie's allegation that Diddy forced him to have sex with a prostitute. Lil Rod's lawsuit includes something else that may have piqued the Fed's interest. He alleges there are hundreds of hours of video and audio recordings of Diddy's illegal behavior. We now know this is what the Feds were searching for on March 25th, when they executed search warrants at Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. At the time, we only speculated that investigators collected electronic evidence, but now we know for sure. According to the indictment against Diddy, investigators seized more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant from his home.
Just a week later, 2 more individuals came forward with lawsuits as the deadline approached for New York's Adult Survivors Act, which extends the statute of limitations for survivors to file claims.
As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and the large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
They hinted that more allegations could be coming, suggesting we haven't seen the end of the list yet.
It's not baby oil. It's and I don't mean the fun kind that you like to take. We've all been cracking jokes about Diddy and the baby oil thing, and the stuff is funny, but something just didn't make sense to me. One, why does he have so much? It's one thing to have 10, 20, even 100 bottles between his properties where they rated, even 100 bottles between all those properties, that's somewhat reasonable, and it's like, okay, whatever, you like to do some weird stuff. But it was 1,000 bottles, and the FBI took it, which was weird, because okay, you just like to do some freaky stuff, but then why would the FBI take it? Because they know what it is. We've heard about Diddy talking about his parties and stuff like that, but no one ever brought up baby oil, which is kind of weird because even talking about the parties, if that was something that was going down on a regular basis, people would kind of bring it up as a joke within the industry and they would kind of throw things out there because people don't know what's going on. I've never heard of anything about that until now. And the main reason why I know it's is because of this movie. Blink Twice, starring Channing Tatum, that came out not even 3 months ago. So spoilers if you haven't seen it. I hate to ruin this movie for you because it is a pretty good movie, but this makes sense once I explain to you what happened. Long story short, Channing Tatum is a tech billionaire who has this island that he invites all his people to. The women that he invites to the island, he gives them this perfume. It's just like regular perfume that doesn't have anything special about it. What they find out later is that this perfume erases your memory for a short term. So throughout the movie, these women keep using this perfume on a regular basis, don't think anything of it, but come to find out later it's been erasing their memory. And the reason why it's been erasing their memory is because these dudes have been taking advantage of them at night, and then the next day they don't remember what happened. And the key part about the perfume in this movie, that the reason why it's tied to Diddy, is in the movie you find out that basically he's been giving the perfume to a lot of his, billionaire friends and all his influential people, and showing them, hey, you can use this perfume for this thing, whatever, to do these terrible things. All you can do is invite them to the island, you give them perfume, you can do what you want.
The FBI just hit Diddy with a major bombshell, leaving the entire industry in shock. No one saw this twist coming, and it could bring down one of hip-hop's biggest legends. Get ready, because things are about to get messy.
Because either two things that I believe. Either they know some of the stuff is true, either they took part in some of the stuff that happened, or they scared that it may mess up their brand. See, nobody wants to be in contact with anybody that allegedly was sex. You see what the WWF did to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was one of those people that was called for sex. We don't hear a lot about it because he gave up the company, he did what he was supposed to do, and he became Ghost. But now, you see they trying to do the same thing to Puffy. They trying to make him or hip hop the face of sex trafficking, like they was gonna do the WWF at one time. Cause that was a big story. So a lot of his people that know him, a lot of the people that been in those parties and seen probably some unscrupulous shit that went down and was like, ooh, I was there. I hope they don't got me on tape. They feeling a certain way. So they not gonna speak on nothing until they've been approached with something. You gotta realize when Homeland Security get their evidence together, they're gonna send agents out.
Picture this. Diddy, the mastermind behind Bad Boy Records, who helped shape a generation's music, is now at the center of a massive FBI investigation. It's so shocking that it makes Hollywood's wildest drama seem tame. This isn't just another celebrity in trouble story. It's the collapse of an empire. In mid-September 2024, the FBI set off a firestorm when they unsealed an indictment that's been all over social media. Raids on Diddy's extravagant Los Angeles and Miami estates revealed something far beyond your typical celebrity scandal. What the feds uncovered is truly chilling.
This is the KTLA 5 News at 1. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. The latest accuser held a news conference today after filing a lawsuit against Diddy.
KTLA 5 Samantha Cortese live now in Carthay with the details. Samantha?
Glenn and Lou, as Sean Diddy Combs sits in a jail cell in New York City, yet another woman has come forward with heinous allegations of rape and sexual assault. And she says it's all on videotape being passed around and possibly sold. The allegations are awful, and the alleged victim was deeply emotional and upset today here in Carthay, where she sat next to her lawyer, her attorney, Gloria Allred. Today, Talia Graves spoke publicly for the first time about the aftermath of allegedly being raped in a Bad Boy Records studio in New York City. This was in 2001. Her attorney by her side, Graves filed a lawsuit in the New York Southern District. That lawsuit states the following. She was 25 years old, dating one of Combs' employees. Combs asked her to come into the studio with him and his security guard, Joseph Sherman. In the lawsuit, Graves states she remembers having a drink before she lost consciousness, and this is a trigger warning regarding sexual assault. Graves said when she woke up, she was tied up and being raped by the two men, Combs and his security guard, forced to perform sex acts that are too graphic to share. Graves explains the turmoil she says she had suffered since that night.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words. It goes beyond just physical harm caused by and during the assault. Some of the hardest parts of this pain are the shame and the guilt I have experienced that plays a negative part in my day-to-day ability to function properly. Being blamed, questioned, and threatened.
All right, let's dive into the usual drama. In the realm of high-flying hip-hop royalty, some wild behavior isn't surprising, right? But then came the jaw-dropping revelation. Over 1,000 bottles. Yes, you heard that right, of baby oil and lubricant. The internet exploded with X and TikTok lighting up with memes and wild theories. Seriously, what does anyone need with that much lube?
I've been knowing him a long time, and we was friends. We're not enemies, but we were friends. He's not a dummy, so he's smart enough to work his magic. On top of that, this man right here, he been involved with the FBI for most of his career. It's not like he don't have no moves. So I don't think nobody should just count him out. I don't think he gonna lay down and just crawl in the corner and die. He probably going through a lot of shit right now because he probably going through a lot of withdrawals for the drugs. But the industry got him on. And see, they do these things to take control. They're not doing, there's nothing wrong with being gay. If you choose to be gay, that's your preference. But they doing this to people for control. It's a power situation.
It didn't take long for people to start connecting the dots with what was discovered on site. Whispers quickly emerged about DHB, the infamous date rape drug. Were those bottles more than they appeared? Was Diddy involved in something far more sinister than your typical celebrity scandal?
Trump and Diddy?
No, I was not surprised, because you got to remember that Donald Trump has been a fixture of the New York City social scene, of a certain kind of New York City social scene for decades. Anyone that's from New York grew up, their parents talking to them about Donald Trump, reading about Donald Trump in the tabloids, seeing him in appearances as himself on Sex and the City, Home Alone. And so he was this real fixture of New York City high life. And so was Diddy. As I said, Diddy started his record label in 1994. He's from Westchester. He was a real part of New York City in the 1990s and a real part of New York City wealth. And so I don't think it's any surprise that these are two people that spent a lot of time being seen out together at various events. And so, it wasn't particularly surprising. And obviously there's a lot of photos of the two of them together. I think the most famous one that's been going around now is this photo of Diddy, who is being celebrated at an event at Mar-a-Lago, where there's a photo of him, Donald Trump, and Melania. And interestingly enough, that was an event thrown by Russell Simmons, who has his own problems to deal with, although he's fled to Bali and is dealing with them there.
Now, hold on. Things are about to get even messier. Some are claiming that these bottles weren't just for show. Online sleuths have quickly speculated they might be linked to a dark secret world centered around the notorious freak-offs. So, what exactly is a freak-off, you ask? If the rumors are to be believed, these were exclusive, invite-only parties where anything goes. The stakes weren't just about having a good time. It was about power and control, according to some of the lawsuits that are piling up.
Was known as the Multi-Law Enforcement Task Force that investigated the murders of rap stars Tupac and Biggie. That's the Wikipedia story about him, right? So I said, so who was really behind this? So in the video, when I interview him, you know how somebody's trying to arrest him? Like if you've seen the movie American Gangster and they got these pictures. Is this the guy at the top? Is this the guy? So I have 50 different pictures with magnets, and he's putting these things up on. If you go to the video, you'll see how I set it up. Put Great Kidding by David. And I said, who was really the guy behind it? He says, well, we first thought it was this, then we first thought it was that, and we first thought it was this, and everything's going. Then at the end, the conclusion, after multiple conversations with him and different people, it came down to Biggie. And to me, there's so many right there. If you can just zoom in, that's the way we had it. So we're kind of going back and forth to see who was behind the guys that killed Biggie, Tupac, Easy. I'm a hip hop guy. I grew up to all this stuff with NWA. This is my, Straight Outta Compton was a movie I watched God knows how many times because I listened to all of that stuff. I'm an LA kid. So why is it that so many people in music and Hollywood fear this guy, Diddy, as if he's untouchable? And even
Sugar Diddy.
Diddy, not Suge.
You said Biggie, but you meant.
I'm sorry, I meant to say Diddy, not Biggie.
Well,
Diddy.
if you punch in on the picture here, you see Diddy, you see Suge Knight, and then a lot of their cohorts down there, but Tupac and Biggie at the top, as you were, Pat.
Yeah. So what is it? I mean, everybody's in there. So what is it with Diddy that so many? T.I. called him out. 50 Cent said one time on Charlamagne God's podcast, Breakfast
Club.
He says one time Diddy said, hey, let me go buy you some clothes. Let me take you shopping. He's like, well, you want to take me shopping? What are you talking about? So T.I. called him out. 50 called him out. But some people are afraid. What do you know about? Because some people are talking about there's Diddy involvement with Jamie and something happened because he was calling him out for some of the parties he was putting up.
This is where things take a deeply disturbing turn. Jane Doe, one of the first women to speak out, has filed a significant lawsuit against Diddy, claiming she was filmed without her consent and coerced into horrific acts at these notorious gatherings. But she's not alone. An increasing number of women are coming forward with eerily similar stories about their experiences with the music mogul.
Details are emerging in the federal case against Sean Diddy Combs, the music mogul being held without bail after pleading not guilty to a host of charges, including sex and racketeering. We do have complete coverage. We're going to start with NBC's Chloe Malas. Hey, Chloe, good morning.
Hey there, good morning. Sean Combs is behind bars after a federal judge denied the music producer's request to post a $50 million bail. The judge siding with prosecutors who argued that Combs is dangerous and poses an ongoing threat to the community. And authorities say additional charges have not been ruled out. But we do have to warn you, some of the details here are disturbing.
Federal prosecutor. The allegations portrayed Diddy as a predator, using his immense wealth and influence to manipulate, abuse, and silence his victims. Next Vice, Next Voice. Diddy's been in bed with the FBI for a while. These allegations have rocked the foundations of Diddy's empire.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Crimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics.